So welcome to this angle of chaos. I am procrastinating on sewing on binding for a quilt that you're gonna see real soon. If you've seen my Instagram posts, my stories and stuff, you've seen it recently, but at least some hints at it. But I gotta change my walking foot and get to work. But I wanted to show you, other than this chaos, I didn't want to show you that. I've been doing some little crafty haul shopping, so let me show you some fun that we're gonna have coming up. So I had this idea, and I'm hoping it's gonna be as fun as it sounds, as long as the participant is in a good mood. But I really wanted to do some tie-dyeing with my niece in a couple weeks when she's here, so I bought some tie-dye stuff. So my sister video chatted me from the parking lot while they were waiting for her husband to get pizza, and she was a grumpy little three-nager. And so my sister asked her, "Are you excited to see Emily in a couple weeks?" And she said, "Yeah." I mean, it was very, I don't think it was super enthusiastic, but I said, "Should we tie-dye?" Not like a 3-year-old knows what that is, but she said, "Yeah." And so I said, "What color should we do?" And she said, "Pink." I said, "Okay, we need more colors than just pink. What other colors should we do?" And she said, "Purple." And so I found this perfect little, oops, there goes my bag. I found this purple little set of tie-dye for her that's pink, purple, and this like teal color. Fuchsia, purple, and teal, sorry. But this is going to be her little set to use because it's either going to go really well or really chaotic having a 3-year-old do some tie-dye. And I asked my sister, said, "Okay, if we tie-dye, do you want something?" And she's like, "Yeah, I guess." "So what size?" So let me reach into my bag of tricks. I had a really hard time finding t-shirts at Joann's. Like, the display was all there, but man, there's like 3 Joann's in my area, 4 actually. And of the 2 that I went through, the wiped out of t-shirt inventory. So I went to Hobby Lobby and found t-shirts aplenty. So we are going to be going to Lake Tahoe that week after we do some tie-dye. So I think we're going to have some matching t-shirts. So I got one for me, one for my sister. There's a tiny one in here somewhere. And then also got one for my mom. So all of us girls that are going to be there are going to have some beautifully tie-dyed t-shirts, compliments of a 3-year-old. I also want to play with the Kona PFD, prepared for dyeing muslin. And so I'm going to get some of that at work, and I think I'm going to tie-dye some fabric. So the reason why is I want to kind of incorporate it into a 3-yard quilt, and I think it would be fun to kind of have my own personally made fabric, and look at all these colors. I think I may get more than just 1 yard cut, so then I can have some fun and play around and maybe do like a backing. Clearly I've got a tie-dye party for 6. And we'll see how far we can make that last. So that's kind of my plan there. Obviously we'll start with the shoe shirts. I also wanted to try ice dyeing at some point. A couple years ago at QuiltCon, there was an ice dyeing class. I think it was when I was in Austin, actually, like way 2020 QuiltCon. And so that's been on my radar as well. So I may buy more fabric to do that at a later time, because I feel like ice dyeing would be counterproductive right now, because the ice would really melt before anything happens. What I've read about it, you need it to like slow melt. And so if you've ice dyed, definitely give me some tips in the comments, and give me some hints, some clues, all that good stuff. And then the last little bit I want to show you is my impulse buy that I knew I was going to impulse buy as soon as it came in, and that is Tabby Road. So I actually, this is the first Tula Pink that I've ever purchased, like ever. I've got a little bit of the zebras from Lineworks on my shelf over here because somebody else bought it for me, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time I have ever bought anything Tula Pink, which feels wild. Oh, I take that back. I do have a yard-ish of the pink kitties from Besties, because I was gonna make my niece an apron, and I think I still will. She hasn't, I mean, she's still that size of apron. So I picked the 2 smallest bolts we had on the floor just to make it convenient and empty out some bolts. So I got these kitties. So remember, this is the Tula Pink Deja Vu. It's the recoloring of the original. I guess this didn't fold to show any kitties. And then this one. So I've got some blocks that, let me see, they're way far away. Let me see if I can swing it. I'll give you a little sneak peek. So I've got some blocks back here that I have been working on, and the middle section is a 6.5 inch square, and I think I could fussy cut this to fit in the middle of it. By the way, that pattern is Swoon by Thimble Blossom, so Camille Ross-Kelly and her mom Bonnie. I don't think it's a Bonnie and Camille pattern. I think it's just Camille. But I think that would be super cute. With my niece, I'm ashamed to say that she is very much likes to wrap her stuffed animals, and by stuffed animals I mean cats, in blankets, but she doesn't have any doll-sized blankets, and so she's been wrapping them in washcloths. So I, the quilter of the family, am embarrassed to admit that. Not that it's any fault to my sister, it's just my niece being a creative 3-year-old. So I think she's gonna get some very fancy little doll blankets. So that's on my plan. We'll see if that happens before she's here in a couple weeks. If not, she'll be getting some fun mail, because I don't think I'll be able to wait till Christmas to get them to her. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go finally bind this quilt so I can finish that video and show it off to you and be on to the next fun project, like those blocks behind me. So it is still super hot, and somebody has found her little cradle back here again. She's just sleeping away. Trixie, what are we gonna sew today? Are we gonna sew anything? Huh? It's Sunday. Are we gonna sew anything? What do you think? So as far as productivity this week, I've quilted some quilts. I finished a quilt. I finished a quilt top. Both of those things you're going to see real soon as far as videos for those. And then I did the unthinkable. I sewed through my pinky this week, and not just on my Janome. I went big and I got it on my long arm. So that was a fun little surprise. Luckily, it didn't get blood on the quilt. Didn't get blood all over the floor. So we survived. And then just so I could do a little something today, I did this little 16 patch. So I just used my Kona scraps and paired them up. This was from the Lo and Behold scrap bash that I said I was participating in back in June. And here we are in August, and I'm finally doing a little something from it, but it's cute. They were 2.5 by 10.5 strips, 2 for each of the blocks, and then they are about 8.5 inch blocks before I sewed them together. So took a little frustration and shuffling around to kind of get what I first started out as Scrappy, and it's just a little 16 blocks, 16 batch. So I'll probably grab a little backing. This is probably like 30 something inches wide, and so I'll be able to get that little quilted just to have something to do. And I think it's a fun way to work through my Kona stash. She had, for the scrap bash, she had a star block, a log cabin, and then this 16 patch. And I decided this one because log cabin and the star, as much as I like the Scrappy star blocks, I needed a quick brain break. So there is that, and then we'll be back real soon to see what other fun we can come up with.